Hello and welcome to Back to the Tactics board with Edge of Play. In this video, we're looking at the 1-2-1-2 formation in 7-a-side. I'll look at some of the key features of it and also some of the challenges you may face when trying to use this formation with your team. Here the players are then in the 1-2-1-2 system. Let's start with the features of this system. First of all, you can see the team has quite a lot of depth in terms of lines. You've got those 4 lines. You've got your deepest line, your defender, just the one though, your defensive midfield area, your central to attacking midfield area, and then your forward line. So you've got 4 lines through the team, gives it quite a bit of depth. This shape can work quite well with pressing because you can have a forward either side responsible for their side of the pitch to put the press on, and then they can be backed up by the central or attacking midfielder in there, and then the ball prevented from being switched across or a kind of trap set for the ball to switch across by the other forward. So you do have a system there that can work quite well with the press. Beyond that first line of the press, you've then got your defensive midfielders who can be trying to get into those lines between their teammates where a ball might be played through, so almost like a passing lane trap. This system can work quite well with building possession, linking up together. You can see you've got this diamond through your deeper players, and then you've got ahead of that a triangle between your attacking midfielder and your forwards. The midfielder really linking the two together, and then either on the sides as well, you can have your side deep midfielder and forward, and likewise on the other side. So that should give you quite good angles of support for building possession, retaining possession. Even as you move up the pitch as a unit, you can imagine that would be quite a useful thing to have. You've got the depth and the angles to try and kind of camp in an opponent's half. It looks quite solid centrally as well as a unit. If you're without possession and you're not pressing the ball, you're cutting off a lot of through balls in this. You've got a few different lines that can cut that ball off. It should be quite compact, and that unit can then shift across to one side, shift across back the other way. The downside with this shifting across is when you're in a 2 horizontally as opposed to a 3, that's a lot of ground to cover to get across. In this system you have the 2 defensive midfielders. I mean, if you had a player in between them, you'd say they were like wing backs because they are going to have defensive duties to do as well. But if they can be getting on the ball in this kind of area, protecting the defence as well, you know, if they can be doing those duties in there, it means number 5 has quite a bit of freedom to try and get into these spaces, to get on the ball on the half term and try and find forward passes to your number 7 and your number 6. Another benefit for the attacking midfielder is that if you can get back between an opposition midfield and the opposition defence, one thing to get on the ball in there, which is great, but can also be when the ball's playing to your forward, making those runs from deep. So the ball can be set back and then played forward to you. Little third man runs, it's very difficult for a defence to track those runs because they're from deep. You can get up a runner's speed before they're able to react. Having 2 forwards in this system, obviously a real bonus. They can link up together, work together as a unit. They've both got the option of the layoff ball to the attacking midfielder. You've also, because you haven't got natural width in this formation, you'd be giving them the license and the kind of instruction probably to run into the channels, make big movements to the channels, give you that width. You've got the attacking mid then backing up, and you've got your far side forward getting in there for balls that are played in. Looking at some of the challenges in this formation then, well, first of all, the fact you've got 1 defender. The defender's going to have to be very strong, they're going to have to be good in one-on-ones, and as I've said in other videos where you have 1 at the back, I would think they have to be pretty quick as well. They have to get across the ground quickly because they've got a lot of area to cover. Until support arrives, there might be a ball played into this area or this whole big area. They might have to get across. They're going to need to be first to that ball because if that ball comes in and support hasn't got back yet, you're going to be conceding opportunities. The deep midfielders, well, it's quite an unusual role in this because there's somewhere between midfield and like a wing back really, like an inverted wing back. They're coming in to this little pocket here and this little pocket here. Now, a fullback might be happy receiving the ball here. They know where the touchline is, everything's in front of them and to the side of them. Whereas in this here, they're going to have a few, you know, they have to have good awareness. They need to be aware of the space around them and who is there and where the space is to turn into. And as well as that, unlike a situation where a defensive midfielder receives it and has options to lay the ball back to, you'd often have an option here and an option here as well, for example. Well, in this case, there is no option here. You know, any kind of pressure, lose the ball, a team can be in here and they're getting a shot off straight away. It'd be quite an interesting role for the midfielders here. They're receiving the ball in tight areas with not too many options to lay the ball off to. They'd have to be receiving it and looking to turn forwards almost where they have got the 3 players for support. And added to that, these defensive midfielders midfielders have a real big role in terms of supporting your defender. You would think anything coming into this area, they're going to have to be getting into there to help out and support. The other player then tucking into here, and on the other side, into there to support, even tuck it in here perhaps and ending in the back three. So defensively, once they are turned and the ball goes beyond your midfield, they have to get back and work hard, which then kind of nullifies having them there, because then this space that I'm boxing out now becomes available for an opponent to get on and get at you. This then puts pressure on your attacking mid, getting back in as well. So you lose the benefit of that player, or you lose some of the running of that player because they're having to work hard to get into here to cover, and you end up sometimes in this situation. Win the ball back, they've got to get back into here, into these spaces. Your number five's got to get back forward again. So there's quite a lot of movement has to happen if you get put on the back foot. I alluded to this before, but another issue would be if you're playing against a team that is switching the play, and the ball's coming in and across into the midfield and out the other way, because you've got two in these units as opposed to three in any of them, 2 or 1 in these units. It's one thing to come across and you look really compact and there's not many options to get through you. But the ball comes across the other way, they've then got a lot of ground to cover to get across the pitch. How many times can they do that? If you're playing against a direct team, it probably won't be a problem because they're going to try and play through you as opposed to around you. But a team that builds a possession could isolate your number 5 in the middle here, try and draw a player into this area and then open up the space behind them. I'd say as well that in defensive transition, it would all depend on your defensive midfielders. If they come and join the play and get ahead into here, then you could have a big issue on defensive transition. You could be exposed. So it will be very much about your defensive midfielders being a bit more cautious and careful to free up 5 to get forward and try and support the forwards in attack. I think one of the main issues in this formation is that it lacks width without movement. So even if you're looking from the back and the goalkeeper's looking for options, if your number 2 is pulling to one side to receive it, where's your width coming from? Are you expecting your defensive mid to pull into there? Okay, fine, but then you're losing this area unless this guy's coming in. Is this player going to offer width this way? So that, because they're in this kind of inside left and inside right area, you might lack width at the start of your build-up play, meaning getting the ball forward a bit earlier might be necessary. But then if you look further forward, the middle third, the final third, you haven't got natural width there. You're relying on movement. It could be the attacking mid making that movement. I'd say more likely it's going to be your forwards getting into the channels. Because they have 2 of them, they can do that and still, have players in the middle to capitalise on whatever comes from the wing play. But yeah, you haven't got natural width in this formation. I think you have to have clear defensive duties in this system as well, because like I mentioned earlier, your defensive midfielders will be having to support your defender at times. What's the attacking midfielder's role? Is their role to replace them and get in quickly? In terms of your forwards, are they both staying up, or is it one at a time dropping into this area to support and replace where the attacking midfielder was? I'd expect something along those lines to be happening, and so at least you're getting in, getting compact. When the possession's regained, hopefully they're getting back into those positions again in possession, so we can try and build the play in those diamonds and triangles we talked about. Thanks for watching this formation video. I do hope you found it useful. To learn about other formations for 5-a-side, 7-a-side, 9-a-side and 11-a-side, go to the tactics section at www.edgeofplay.com.